Welcome to the Creative Journal podcast, where we discuss creativity and mindsets that lead to fulfilling and productive lives. This podcast features many meaningful discussions with others about creative lessons, how they apply to life, how they apply to business, and they all revolve around the underlying excitement and joy that we as creatives feel when we apply creativity to the world around us in our own unique way. I think that feeling is incredible. We share creative lessons in business, athletics, mindfulness, journaling, meditation, whatever the domain, that help us grow not just as designers and creatives, but as people. So get out your mental journal, fire up your internal creative software. Thank you for tuning in, and please enjoy the show. What is going on, ladies, gentlemen, creatives, all people? This episode comes from a place of me not being at my best. In the past, it's been hard for me to admit stuff like this, but as you may be able to tell from the title of the episode, this one is called "Control What You Can Control." It's very fitting for my day-to-day. So I've learned so much today. Today has been an awesome day, and I think that as it comes down to when you reiterate things that are going on in your life, nothing is as big as it seems. And one of the reasons I started this show was this serves as a good reminder of that, not the insignificance, because that is not the way you want to think, but of the idea that everything around you is all important and the smallest thing can throw you off kilter. And in our creative projects, in our life, in our business, in our freelance, so many problems come up, and I wanted to make this episode as a way to help people and help myself overcome these problems. So we're going to start this episode by telling a small story. This is the story of my day-to-day. And I want to start with the prerequisite of I'm not doing any of this to complain. I really just want to get this out there to talk myself through it. And I know that if I was going through some of the things that I'm going through at this moment, yes, they're not that big of a deal, it's starting to be a little bit funny now that I think about it. This is not any way venting or complaining, and if it is, then I'm sorry it comes across that way. But talking through the issues and as they happen in the moment can be really powerful because it can help you realize how insignificant the problems that you face are. So this morning, I felt really good, had an awesome night's sleep. I'm very grateful for that. But I had the sleep, got up, went on a run, and I was ready to get cracking to work. I had so much I wanted to get done today. And I had a nice Sunday to work on it, in the crib, no distractions. Got a lot done Saturday, so I'm on a high. And I sit down to work. I have a really good episode planned for this week, and it was about the Stephen Bartlett on Modern Wisdom, where he talks about his graphic designer friend who, long story short, was in the wrong market, and he helped him move to Dubai. I thought I had a lot of really applicable lessons that I took away from that. Anyway, long story short, I get down to work, start working about 30 minutes in, and my external hard drive stops working, and I started getting a little bit scared. And this happened because, wrongfully so, everything is on that external hard drive to the blame of no one but myself. And long story short, it wouldn't work. Went to Springfield, Ohio, about a 30-minute drive. The man there named Austin, super helpful guy. I'm going to leave him a nice 5-star. I don't know if that's the criteria, but I'm going to leave him a nice review. Very helpful. Basically said that the drive reformatted itself and no longer works on my computer, so I have to buy another external storage, and in the meantime try and take this drive to another device and then get it uploaded to the cloud or some kind of cloud-based storage, whether it be Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive, and then in the meantime take the new data and then download that onto another external storage. So I did that. Drove home, went to Best Buy in Dublin because I wanted to see if they had a monitor I could use or getting a second opinion, or they did a straight data transfer. Turns out it would have been $100 for a straight data transfer, and they didn't have them. They wouldn't let me use one of their monitors, which was I was a little bit annoyed about, but they they do what they do. So the creative lesson I take away from this is, as Austin, my homie at Best Buy, told me, is to have a 3-step system for saving your files and storage. Number one is to have some kind of hard drive or local folder, whether it be an SSD, a drive, or on your internal storage on your computer. Number two would be some kind of cloud-based, whether it be Dropbox, Google Cloud, iCloud storage, etc. And then number three would be a tower where you would take a set time every month and just offload all the important stuff. Really simple, really smart. And that's the biggest takeaway I have from today. So basically, by the time I've gone to all 3 places and waited at all Best Buys and done all the driving, I realized I had to get a Windows laptop so I can do this data transfer, because that's the only way I can pull up the drive on a different monitor, because it will no longer work on Apple. So drove halfway back home to meet Dad halfway, and shout out to Dad, brought me a laptop, and we're trying to get the files transferred over now, even though as I'm running it, it looks like it's not working, so it may be an issue with the drive itself. So still working my way through that. But long story short is, the reason I wanted to make this episode is, when I started the show, I made a promise to myself I was going to get out 1 episode a week. And this was a good wake-up call to me that I didn't have my systems in place, even though I was ready to have an awesome episode today. I had so many awesome recordings in the past couple of weeks of episodes that I'm so excited to get out and share. Matt Vochak from Creative Studio in Columbus, Made by Things. Andy DeVito, head of creative and branding for The Ohio State University. Unreal conversation. I learned so much, and I cannot wait to share that with you guys. Kelly Sells, business development lead for Space Junk Studio in Columbus. Learned so much from her, as long with a very interesting and actionable email framework that I'm going to share with you guys that has just helped me so much. And there's so much value from the guests that come onto the show. I am nothing without the guests on the show, but I try to make it everything I can be and really provide as much value to you guys as I can. And the biggest value lesson I learned today was that stuff is out of your control sometimes. And that's really great to hear for myself. And as I talk my way through these problems, I play them up in my head, and it's not that big a deal when you just talk it out, take a deep breath. Things that have really helped me today: getting some exercise, getting some good food, and getting some sunlight, even though it was a crappy weather day. Just reset your personality, reset your mindset, and attack it with a new problem, with a new frame of being a problem solver. As I talked about in entry 9, once you identify as a problem solver, anything that comes up is no longer an issue. I don't want to say it's no longer an issue, but it becomes much more manageable, because you say, okay, I've done this before, I'm a problem solver, I can overcome this. And taking creative routes to identify as this and overcome these has been my most positive attribute, because I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most creative, and I am not the most successful, but I'm a problem solver. So anything in my life that's a problem, I'm confident I can overcome it, and I'm confident that you guys can too. So I hope you guys took away something from this episode. I know it's not the highest production quality, but next week I have the biggest episode ever on this show with a guest that I am going to keep secret, because he is one of the most influential people in my life at the moment, has taught me a lot, and I cannot wait to share the valuable lessons of him and his story with you guys. So if you guys are enjoying the show, please leave a review. It would help me so much. Remember to keep that promise to yourself and step outside of your comfort zone today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave a review, and I will see you next week on The Creative Journal. Peace.